Look at that. As soon as I put the cameras on the car, the sun starts to shine. I should just film every day and then we just guaranteed good weather. Welcome to the Mini 7, Mini Cooper 7. I'm not sure. It's a Mini Cooper because it says Cooper on the back door, and it's a 7 because 7 is written like there, and on the outside. But I'm kind of finding it difficult to find out exactly what it is that makes it 7. But it's a Mini. Minis are good. Now, just quantify that for a minute. I can find a Mini that I can find fault with, but I've yet to find a Mini that I don't really like driving. I do like driving this. It's quite nice. It's very tidy. It's a 3-door, this one is, and it's powered by 1.5 litre petrol with a 6-speed box, which is really, really smooth. I never really hear the engine, which is kind of funny. I don't know how that's after working, but I don't really ever hear the engine that much. I suppose, it just kind of cruises along. At first I thought it was a diesel. It's a funny engine note in normal mode. Now, so I have 3 modes in this. Let's just get this sport mode thing out of the way, right? So I can go green, which deadens the whole car. It deadens the throttle response. It tightens up stuff that makes it, magic happens, and it uses less fuel. Don't believe that for a second. I think it uses the same fuel, but it deadens the throttle response, so you're less inclined to floor it every time. Then you can go to what's in the middle here, which is like mid, it's called. Mid is like, normal mode. Now, I'll come back to that point in a second. And then you have sport mode, which is the last mode, which sharpens up everything. It makes the steering a little bit heavier, a little bit more pointy, and it makes everything kind of firmer on the road. Now, it's not very firm. Car Minis are, by their very nature, tend to be very firm to drive anyway. And you can probably see some of the vibration when I turn corners. But let's just get back to the mid mode for a minute. So if I get in and I change to green and I leave it in green and I get out and stop the engine, when I get back in it'll be in mid. So I have to click over to green every time I want to drive the car. Now that in itself is a bit of a problem because they have to do it for CO2 emissions and because of the way it's rated and because of the systems they've got. But the problem is it's very aggravating. It's like getting out, and I know this is a point that I make a lot as well on this channel, of when I'm playing the Bluetooth, and I get out of the car and I get back in, it's defaulted back to radio. That drives me insane because I might have just got out of the car for a second and turn off the engine. And I was listening to some critical point in the Bluetooth podcast of the year or something. And then I was like, Bluetooth. I don't have to do that in this. It defaults back to the last thing you were using at all times. But the mode doesn't. So the mode defaults back to mid every time you get in the car. Now, I'm not really complaining about this car at all. I think this car is pretty good in everything it does. It's really fashionable, really stylish, clever boot, nice and deep when you want it to be in a flat one, when you don't. No spare tyre, that's the demerit point. But I'll tell you the biggest demerit point. This car, there's no nice way of putting this. Sit down for a second. I'll just go through something here. It doesn't have parking sensors and it doesn't have sat-nav. It has cruise control, just standard cruise control. It has LED headlamps and things. There is some bits on it. But let's be serious here. This car is over 30 grand with all the options that are on. This one I'm driving, right? Now, models start from less than that, don't get me wrong. This press car is spec'd up a little bit. But let's be serious. I don't have parking sensors. Now, I don't care about sat-nav. Meh. Your phone does a far better job of doing sat-nav these days. Google Maps and Apple Maps and that sort of stuff. You can plug it straight in here, you get Apple CarPlay, all that stuff. So I'm not really worried about sat-nav, right? But the cheaper screen is in this, and I can do less with the little twiddly knob thing in the middle. And it's not very economical either. So it's like 6.5 litres per 100 kilometres. I've done 535 kilometres. I had to put some fuel in it. The benefit of having a Mini 7, I don't know. I don't really know. I can't really find it. It's a spec change. It's an update. It doesn't feel like it drives any different or goes any different. I like it. I like it because I like Mini. But I can't see why you wouldn't just go out and buy a Mini 1. Diesel, for that matter, if you really want one. Or if you're a city driver, just Mini 1, just a standard Mini. But for the name of this car to be Mini Cooper 7, Cooper's not the same thing, right? A Mini John Cooper Works Cooper Mini or a Cooper Mini is not the same thing as this Mini. So let's have a look where Mini Cooper actually began its time. The Mini was born out of a need for a small car and fuel rationing that occurred in the UK after the Second World War. That meant that it was kept small and two-door. The Mini underwent numerous changes of name and engine, and detail upgrades were made to its exterior design. Different body styles were created too, but its fundamental character and layout were unchanged. And it was the standard two-door model that had the most timeless appeal. The final model that rolled off the production line in 2000 didn't really look all that different to the original 1959 car. During the lifespan of the Mini, the original was produced at various factories by BMC. Then it was called British Leyland, and finally the Rover Group. The Rover Group was bought out by BMW in 1994, and development on the current Mini started. So that's it. If you like this review of a Mini Cooper 7, please make sure you give us a share and a like and a subscribe and all them things you're supposed to do to get free content on YouTube. I'm glad you enjoyed this little video. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of the Mini Cooper 7 and its price tag. Until the next time, I will see you on the far side.